So, God of War has a lot of interesting characters. We got a talking head, a germaphobe dwarf, and a gargling snake. But there is one character that's straight up mysterious, one that we know basically nothing of, the eagle. But don't fret, my friends, because I have a theory that links Kratos' journey from Olympus to Midgard with this mysterious eagle. Okay, let me stop being cocky and give credit where credit is due. First, I did not come up with the original theory. A channel called Mythology and Fiction Explained did, but I thought his evidence was a little weak. And I would also like to give credit to a channel called Jagat Review for a small interview he had with Corey Balrog, where he revealed something important about the eagle. Both of their links will be in the description below. Now, much like Plato synthesizing Parmenides and Heraclitus' philosophies, I have to synthesize both of these channels' information for a complete theory. Now, we have to keep in mind that the God of War games are loosely based on the mythologies they are borrowing from, so the developers usually look for characters that are somewhat mysterious and ambiguous to better fit the story. For example, Kratos is linked to the Norse character named Farbauti, whose conception came about by looking at fire. It doesn't get more ambiguous than that. But back to the theory. I naturally typed Norse mythology eagles, and some of them came up. There's the one that sits at the top of the Yggdrasil, there's the Otzi who almost kidnapped Loki, and lastly there's an eagle that blows a horn before Ragnarok begins. None of these fit the bill, but there is one that does, hraesvelgr. There's basically nothing known about this eagle, aside from 3 facts, and they all help my theory. Fact number 1. The eagle has the power to control the winds of the earth, and when you do get close to it, you can see the air around it suddenly get more agitated, so that could be it, but as I said before, this piece of evidence is a little weak. Fact number 2. The eagle is a giant in disguise, and this one's kinda funny because it's a giant eagle. It might also explain why it didn't attack us, since our heroes are in the business of kicking Aesir butt and the giants hate the Aesir for nearly exterminating them. And fact number 3, the eagle's name can be translated as corpse swallower, and this is the point I want to build my theory on, but let's put a pin on that for a second. So during the interview with Corey, he was asked if he would have done something different in the game. He talked about the difficulty of the fight against the Valkyrie Sigrun, and proceeded to mention this. I had to get rid of several bosses. Now, he didn't even give any examples of them, or did he? Right after he said I had to get rid of some bosses, he brought up the eagle as if it were a boss. I believe it was, so here's my theory. The eagle was going to be the first boss battle of the game, but it was replaced with Baldur. But why do I think it makes sense for hraesvelgr to be part of the story? Well, when the new God of War game was announced, the biggest mystery that kept us busy was, how did Kratos manage to get to Midgard? Many theories had been proposed. Mine was about Atreus number 2, the other Spartan, if you remember that. Some other people said that Kratos simply got on a boat and left Olympus behind. Also, after the game came out, people said that Tyr brought him there. But all of these seem a little weak and without evidence. Now, why do I think that the eagle brought him there? Well, remember how his name can be translated to corpse swallower? If you played God of War 3, you would remember the weird ending where Kratos killed himself. Nothing has been said about this. It is still a mystery how Kratos survived. My theory is that since this is a corpse swallower, it might have sensed a great calamity in one of the other mythologies, and found Kratos to be responsible for the destruction of the gods of the land. So he took the corpse in hopes of reviving him to help the giants fight against the Aesir gods. Whoa! Hold the phone, Captain Kuba. You're basing your theory on the fact that Kratos is a corpse and the eagle is called a corpse swallower. That's as weak as saying Jesus is based on the character Odysseus because they both stepped in a boat. And you're right, it is weak. But may I ask you something? On top of what did Kratos die? He died on top of an engraved eagle. Now I know that Stig Asmussen did not intend the eagle to be hraesvelgr. He probably meant it as a phoenix, which means rebirth in Greek mythology. But from the other side of the coin, the Norse mythology side, this could have been used by Corey as hraesvelgr, and it's perfect because not much is known about this character. What if the eagle is part of a much larger picture? What if there's an engraved eagle in every other mythology? In the Egyptian, the Japanese, the Mayan, and so on. Maybe the engraved eagle has the purpose of a helipad. Wherever there is one, the eagle stops by to check the balance of the mythology. But let's get back to the theory. How could the eagle be a boss fight? I see 2 ways of this happening. Scenario number 1. The eagle brought Kratos' corpse back to Midgard. There it revived him. Kratos, being confused, started attacking it because as a Spartan that's the only thing he knows how to do. But if you watch the interview, Corey mentioned something. He said it was going to be epic. And I know what's epic for you may not be for me, but hear me out. Scenario number 2 is that the eagle found Kratos' corpse. As he was taking him to Midgard, Kratos came back to life because he's immortal. Confused and afraid, he started attacking hraesvelgr while in the air, much like Kratos fighting against Balder on top of the dragon. Now I'm about to show you that what's cool for me, it's also cool for you. Imagine during the fight, Kratos punches the eagle in the eye and it drops him in the ocean. As he swims away, the eagle swoops down to grab him because he's too valuable for the cause against the Aesir gods. All of this happens until you reach Midgard. Now you're saying, this is amazing, why didn't this happen? This sounds like a traditional epic God of War first boss fight. Why didn't we get this? I think the answer can be found on how it would have impacted the gameplay. You see, the new God of War came with the Leviathan Axe, a weapon that's completely different from the Blades of Chaos, and it would have needed a lengthy tutorial to teach the players all the new moves without throwing them into a boss fight. A tutorial like the one we got.
He broke our bridge. How are we gonna get across?
Step aside.
Wow.
Go.
Also, if the eagle would have attacked Kratos in Greece, he wouldn't have any weapons because he had dropped the Blades of Exiles before dying. You may think he probably just picked them up and fought the eagle with them, and that's why he has them in Midgard. But hold on, these are not the Blades of Exiles. These are the Blades of Chaos, the ones we lost in God of War 1. These blades have been lost for years. So what I'm trying to say is that from a gameplay perspective, it wouldn't have made sense having Kratos fight an eagle bare-fisted. There is also the other probability of why it was cut, and Kratos can summarize it with one small sentence.
Everything is different, boy.
You see, like it or not, this is no longer the God of War of the old days. The boss battles are not about giving Kratos a scenario to show off his Spartan moves. Every boss fight is justified by the story. Yes, it would have been cool to have the eagle sit along other epic first bosses like the Hydra, the Colossus, or Poseidon, but instead we got Kratos chopping down a tree, navigating a boat, and teaching his son how to shoot an arrow.
Clear your mind. Steady your aim and breathe in.
I got it.
Good.
In a way, this intro is epic too? But no, it's not. I wanted to fight a giant eagle. No, but seriously, the question of how Kratos got to Midgard has always puzzled me. None of the other theories seem to make much sense anymore. And I think this theory answers the question in a manner that's probable and reasonable. But what I think don't matter. What do you guys think? Does this make sense? Should we start signing a petition to get the eagle as a boss fight? Yes! Leave a comment below with your thoughts about the theory. If you liked it, give it a like and share it with your friends. Also, I have a few other theories you might enjoy, like who blew the trumpet during the game, why do humans turn to Hellwalkers, and Sigmund and Gunther discovered in the game. And that's it for today. Thanks for watching. Goodbye.
Whoa.